Awinongya.
Awinongya.
Live.
Yeah.
Fight fans, good afternoon. We have a special Saturday afternoon show for you. This is the Fighting News. Here with Steve Rothman, founder, CEO of the Fighting News. Matt B, you know me, you know everything that I do. And introducing this young lion, Jojo. Repeat your last name first, please, sir. I don't want to.
Joseph Awinongya.
Awinongya. How's
Mm-hmm.
that?
Yeah,
That
you
was
got
good.
it.
Otherwise known as Jojo. All right, Jojo is an outstanding young man. He's an amateur boxer. He's got 19 national titles. Uh, and we're going to talk about some other things that you do, but we'll keep it simple and go one thing at a time. So first of all, tell us a little bit about your background. How old are you, and when did you get started with boxing?
So right now I'm 16 years old. I started boxing at the age of 5. Previously before that I was always in the gym. I stayed doing wrestling and just running around spending my time in the gym. So when I hit the age of 5, I went ahead and transitioned fully into boxing, and then from there I had my first fight at 8, and I went on to win a bunch of nationals from then.
Okay, so when we hear 19 national titles, that's a phenomenal number. So that includes events like the Sugar Bird tournaments, that kind of thing. As
Yeah, so it includes stuff like Silver Gloves Nationals, USA Nationals, Junior Olympics, Eastern qualifiers, Western qualifiers. It's all of the stuff that goes ahead and has a ranking. I try to go ahead and attend those events and see how well I could do.
excellent. And so, where do you stand in the rankings right now?
So right now I'm at number one at 156 or 147. I forgot which one I'm number one at, but I'm number one at 156 and then number two at 147. Because recently I've just kept on increasing my weight through a growth spurt. So started fighting at 80 and then now I'm going to 165. So I go. One tournament I'm fighting one weight class and the next I go up, then yeah, that's how it's been going lately.
Right,
Nice.
right. So, well, yeah, you're 16. You're going to be growing for another couple of years still.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are your goals as an amateur boxer?
So right now, being an amateur, the goals is to see how well I could keep on going within the youth division and elite. So making sure I could go ahead and keep on winning these national tournaments to get me on the teams necessary to be traveling worldwide, and then also during this amateur time to be done with my college term there, so I could have my first degree fully done with, and then I could pursue boxing to the fullest extent.
Okay. Well, we're going to get to the education part in a minute because I think that's pretty fascinating also. But do you have goals, your eyes set on the Olympics or?
It depends when it comes to the time because right now I'm too young for the 2024 Olympics and I wouldn't have the ability to fight in that one. So 2028, when that rolls around, then being a professional fighter, I would think around that time I'm professional. So I would have to go ahead and see how that would work with me fighting the Olympics, being a professional fighter. And I'm trying to see within if when I go professional to try to get a world championship as soon as possible, going the Lomachenko route and trying to see how fast I'll be able to become a world championship and get one of the belts.
Yeah, and
Right.
who have you spoken to about that? Like, is it just when you turn 18, you're gonna go pro? Is that the game plan or?
Yeah, I would believe 17, 18 around that time go pro and then see if I could start out with a couple more rounds than other people start out with. So the people start out with 4, I'll be seeing if I could start out with 6 and moving on from there, 6, 8 rounds.
Right.
ha-
What's your total amateur record now?
So right now I'm like 140 and 10 around that. I don't I would say yeah, about like 10 losses and 140 wins.
Wow, that's
Right. So
that's
that's an incredible
remarkable.
number of fights. That's like you're right. That's like the fighters from Eastern Europe and in Cuba also. We saw some fighters from Cuba last night. They come here with these outrageous amateur records. They've been fighting since they're little kids, the same as you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
So uh Yeah, talk about your education. You graduated high school and went to college when you were 13 years old.
Yep, that's true. So, from a young age, I've always made sure to pursue school to the fullest extent so I could go ahead and be done with it as soon as possible. So, I first started high school when I was a little bit before middle school. So, uh, while other people are at middle school, I was trying my best to be done with my first freshman year. So, I was uh middle school and high school, I was balancing the two. I was going to middle school in person and then doing high school online. So when I finished those two, I was going ahead and I went to the nearby community college. I went and completed some tests. I did well on all of that, and then they allowed me to enter the school. And from then, I got my associates at JJC, and then I moved on to now USF, where I'm going for my marketing and nursing, and they gave
Wow.
me a full ride
So,
scholarship to there.
so while you were in middle school,
Yeah.
you were going to school,
Mhm.
going to class, going to
Yep.
lunchroom and everything, going home, and then logging onto a computer and taking high school classes.
Yes.
Wow.
That's
Yeah.
incredible. That's quite an
That's
achievement.
wow. That wow. I can't believe that. That's amazing. And what do you want to be? Do you want to be a boxer or do you want to be a nurse practitioner?
My main goal has always been boxing because it's just the reason I did this is because my my mom was always like, you need a backup plan in the case of anything happening. So you never know. Boxing is a sport where one punch can end your whole career. So you would have to make sure you always have something previously set before it.
Right, like your father.
Yeah.
What had happened to your father? He was telling me he used to fight for Don King.
Yep. And within that, he had many fights with Don King, and then he started to have a problem with his eye, so he had to go and get he had a detached retina and all of that, and
Right,
then so from then on, he had to go through like 5 surgeries, I believe, and then that's when he finished his career. Then,
right. So his backup plan is training other people at the gym and
yeah,
training his son. That's great.
yeah,
That's
so.
a horrible surgery, that detached retina. Did he have to like lie down, for a couple of months at a time to recover
I
from
don't
it?
I don't know. It was years before I was born because that time he was still doing all of his fighting. So then he would be fighting with the eye problem and only being able to see out of one eye. So yeah,
Yeah, I had a friend who had that surgery, and they had to lay on their stomach for like 23 hours a day for a couple of weeks. So they had to get a special bed. They couldn't move around
yeah.
because the eye is like floating in liquid, and if they stood up, it would detach the retina again. So
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's crazy.
yeah. So what's been your proudest or your most memorable moment in your amateur career so far?
The most memorable it would probably be when I won my first silver gloves, because that's what's kind of like the entry into the sport for me, because when when I won that silver gloves when I was like 9, it showed that I could really do something within the sport and I could continue doing it and keep on winning while I'm also helping a lot of other people out going through and showing that this is something everybody can do as well. So it's fun being a role model as well and being able to help others out.
Right.
What
And where are
what,
you
what
from exactly? Where do you live?
So right now I stay in Joliet, Illinois. It's close by Chicago, about like 1 hour away, and then my family is from Ghana, uh, West Africa.
Okay.
your gold? You said silver golden glove,
So, it's silver gloves. It's
silver
like
gloves.
it's from it's for the kids that are like I would say 8 to 16. Yeah, that's the.
Right. How many fights did you win to get that the to make it to the finals for that
I think
golden?
it was like 3 or 4, or
So four
yeah,
four times.
yeah, 4 times during the week, and then I won that one.
Wow.
Right. So you're competing against all the kids like in the urban in the Chicago area, then, huh?
Yeah, so I used to compete a lot more in this area, but now lately there hasn't been that many fighters around my division to where they can also have the same amount of experience that I have to even get into the ring. So there's not that many people where I'm at right now where I have that much sparring. So we've been trying to venture out into different areas and see where we could get sparring from different professionals even to help me keep on furthering my career.
Right. So who are some of those professionals that you've been sparring with?
Like today I even did sparring with Alex Martin, one of the professionals here in Chicago, and then it's just I don't think you guys will like know the names because they're now coming up as well, but there's I would say like five different professionals that I've been working with over here, and then seeing recently I just came back from the California camp, so I was able to go there and train with some of the other amateur boxers as well. And then so yeah, it's there's I that's the only hard part right now, finding the sparring and finding the other people the same skill level to get fights with.
Right.
Yeah. What's your daily routine that you do? Tell me what you do on a regular basis.
Okay, so regular basis, I have school Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So that one I go to on campus. So those days I would wake up like 6 a.m., go to class around like 9, and then from 9 to 1:30 I'll be at school. Get out 2 o'clock, I'm in the gym for 1 hour doing strength and conditioning. Then after that at 3, come back home, do a couple assignments, then go back to the gym at 6 o'clock and stay there till 9, and then I come back home, take a shower, go to sleep, and then it
Wow,
would be time.
you're doing 2 a days every day.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow, and studying and going to school. Wow. Well, so what do you do for fun other
For
than
fun,
boxing?
I have my PC, my PS5, and then sometimes on the weekends I go out a little bit to different fairs and all of that stuff.
And what's your game of choice?
Recently I've been playing 2K and CS:GO too.
What CS:GO is? What is that kind of game?
It's a shooter game, so it's first person shooter, and then 2K24, that one's a basketball game.
Nice. How's your basketball game?
IRL, I would say I'm not that good at basketball. All I can do is just play defense, and I'm able to dunk a little bit, but from then on I'm not too good at basketball IRL.
Nice. Just the boxing, huh?
Mhm.
So your father's your trainer, huh?
Yeah, so he's been my trainer for this whole time in my boxing career.
Awesome. Awesome. And I assume you go out of state for a lot of the tournaments. Is like you said before, there's not a lot of competition around at your level in your area. So how much traveling do you do each year?
So traveling, we always make sure to we go ahead and drive to all of these tournaments. So it'll be 15 hours, 17 hours because we're going to like Texas, Virginia, all the places where the tournaments take place. So those places we drive to, and then we have to drive back as well. So it's a lot of traveling when it comes to the sport tournaments.
Right. And do you ever end up traveling and then the fight gets canceled?
Yeah, that has happened a couple of times, but I we always have to make sure like previously like the fights set in hold before we even start driving there.
Yeah, because we see that here in the amateurs a lot. It
Yeah.
happens a lot. It happens a lot, and it tends to happen to the better fighters. You
Mhm.
know, they get matched, and then they end up going to the show, and is the opponent, backs out.
Yeah.
Who? What? Which boxers are your role models for you?
Role models, I would say people that have I've watched a lot Tito Trinidad, I've watched him a lot growing up because I remember being like 5, 6, and then my dad would have me watch all of his fights, and then so I would be like 8 o'clock at night, then I'll be watching his fights, and I'll go to sleep watching those fights. And then so other fighters I've watched like Andre Ward and recently I've been watching a lot more boxing. Previously, I didn't like watching the sport too much, but now with the upcoming of people making the surge to go ahead and get those ideal fights, I've tended to watch it more. And now knowing that the people I also grew up with are moving on to the professional field, I'm watching
Yeah.
those fights. I feel a urgency to watch those fights more.
Wow. Speaking of fights, we got a great fight tonight. We got Charlo
Charlo
Canelo.
and
Versus Canelo.
Canelo.
Yeah. What who do you like in that fight?
I would say I would have to keep it in the middle, but I knowing how Canelo's going to apply his pressure, and it depends on how Charlo is going to retaliate from there, and then it's going to be hard to depict who's going to win that one.
Gonna go the distance, you think?
Uh, I don't know if I see Charlo getting knocked out, but it could happen. It could.
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, I don't see him getting knocked out either. Matt, what do you think?
I I I think there's a possibility that Canelo could stop Charlo for sure in one of the later rounds because of his power. You know, he's
Yeah.
always got it. Even though he might be a little bit on a decline now, uh, he's always got that power. He's always dangerous. I think he can stop Charlo, but I think if it goes to a decision, I think Canelo would uh, would get the decision as well, unless Charlo can really outbox him.
Yeah.
It all depends on which Canelo shows up tonight.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
gonna be watching.
in terms of your style, Jojo, who do you think you fight like, or who do you try and emulate?
I most of the time I don't try to uh emulate like a certain style, but I would say mine is pretty similar to like Terrence Crawford with the jab and making sure I'm able to play off the jab into other punches as well.
Yeah, Crawford is he's great at that. He
Mhm.
really is. That's what makes him, you know, that's what makes him who he is. His ability, he sets up traps well, and he's got a variety of attacks and combinations that he uses. He's a brilliant fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what do you have coming up next? Are there any tournaments? Any
So the
place we
next
can catch you in action?
Yeah, so the next tournaments for me would be in December, and then I have that one's going to be my first time fighting 3 minutes at a national tournament. So that one I'll be fighting for the youth team, and then after I win that one, then I could go ahead and start traveling.
Nice, nice. And what show is that? It's going to be televised or broadcast on USA Boxing, or
Yep, all of those fights will be on the UFC Boxing YouTube channel, I believe.
yeah. A lot of times they have it on their own site, and then but they have three different rings at
Yep.
once.
Mhm.
So you really have to pay attention to the schedule and catch it at the right time. But when you get that information, definitely let us know, and we'll post it out so that our viewers can watch it as well.
Yep.
Yep. Thank you.
Yeah. How do you feel about the future of USA boxing and the Olympics and the controversy things that have been going on?
I feel that USA Boxing has been able to incorporate a lot of new stuff into the sport because now with we even tried to bring people from Ghana to be able to come here and fight a little bit, and they were open to it and they wanted to help that start. So I feel like they always try their best to go ahead and add to the sport. But with the Olympics, seeing how that was canceled at a time, and then it depends on how they move forward with the referees and the judges and see how that works around there because in the sport of boxing there could always be some sort of bribery which can end up causing a big mishap within the sport.
Yes, and I'm not ashamed to admit that I've seen that in USA boxing several times with fighters that we know down here in South Florida where they got completely robbed by judges, but
Yeah.
they realize part of the sport and they just keep going, that's what you got to do. But we also get a lot of, from time to time, direct messages from fighters in Africa. And they say, hey, check me out. Can you support me and stuff like that? And they're fighting, barefoot in the field somewhere. And they're athletic and they clearly have talent. And I suppose it's pretty hard. Like, what are some avenues that those guys have
Yeah.
to come to America, unless it's something like a college scholarship or something, or
Mhm.
how else can they?
Yeah, that's what we were trying to accomplish. Because being able, I went to Ghana one time, and the previous time I went there, we saw a lot of young fighters that had talent and ability to do well within the sport. It's just that they need the equipment, need the opportunity to make it further. So it's it's going to be hard for them to make it into America without a certain organization helping them as well. So it it's what we were trying to come up with, to start helping African fighters.
Yeah.
Have any like pre fight workout rituals or anything, or superstitions?
Uh, what I have pre-fight, it's most of the time I do my chest hit around the ring and then come back to the corner, come this side a little bit, and then go back and go this side. Then I'm ready. And then
Every
I
time.
yeah, every time. Then I go up the stairs quickly. So that's all. That's
And
every
Yeah.
how
time.
did you what you just one day came up with this, or you saw someone else doing it?
Yeah, I me and my dad came up with it the first time, and then I incorporated more stuff into it later on through the fights.
Yeah.
Nice,
You
nice,
have to
and it seems
bow
to
to.
be
You have
working
to
for you.
salute the
Mhm.
judges also.
Yep, doing all
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah, we cover the Florida Golden Gloves, for a lot of young kids, and they're doing it again this year at the Hard Rock in Hollywood, and we're going to be a part of that. So, it's you have an inspiring story, and to watch. We have another Florida fighter that we've been watching, since he was fighting younger than you, um, Aaron Aponte, and we've been watching his journey, and it's real exciting when they go pro. It's like you can't wait. Like
Yeah.
I feel like you're like I wish I was 18.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
with Carmel now, he's also doing well within the sport. He's having his pro debut today, so that's going to be nice to see as well.
on the card,
Yep, he's on the undercard.
wow, and that's a friend of yours.
Yeah, Carmel Moden, he's under Floyd, so yeah, it's going to be nice to watch his fight today.
Nice, and has you spoken to Floyd Mayweather?
No, I
Mayweather
spoke with
promotion?
his father. I don't know if my dad has had any relations with them, but yeah, when I went there a couple of times, I spoke with his father.
Yeah, I bet these guys are like, NFL recruits trying to
Hmm.
sign you for sure.
Yeah, so I've had a lot of people come up now, and then further during the line there will be a lot more. So it all depends on how it goes moving forward with my tournaments and making sure I'm accomplishing and performing the way I need to perform.
Yeah. Is there a certain promotion you can see yourself joining sometime in the future?
I my main goal is trying to get a deal directly with uh the how do I say, like with Showtime or the zone, like how Devin Haney was able to do it within the sport. So I would see if I'm able to accomplish the same thing there and go through the same avenue he went through.
Right. So skipping the major promoter and
Yeah.
network. That's interesting. Um, yeah, like Steve was saying, we've seen quite a few fighters that we're in the amateurs that break into the pros, and it's always exciting for them. That Aaron Aponte that Steve mentioned fought on one of Canelo's undercards during COVID that was down in Miami, and because he's from Miami, also he brought a lot of fans there. They gave him the ring apron to take to his home gym after the fight.
Mm-hmm.
The whole ring apron, yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, so the canvas, so that was pretty cool. And Xander Zayas, who's taken off now, we've known him since the amateurs. He was signed to Top Rank when he was 17, 16, 17.
Yeah, Jared Kidgatti. Yeah, we get. It's amazing. It's amazing how many of you guys start off as just kids like going to the gym. You have you're fortunate enough to have a father that knows about the sport, so he knows all the ins and outs and trains you as well. So you're lucky for that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what other goals do you have for yourself? I mean, you seem
So,
to accomplish a lot.
so the goals are it's now it's mainly executing everything because I have to make sure I continue doing good within school and then make sure I do good within boxing within these next tournaments.
Okay. And do you have like a website or anything for where you mentioned you were trying to help other boxers from other countries?
Yeah, we were just doing that directly with the USA Boxing. So we would
Okay.
have the Ghana team, and then we were putting them in connections with USA Boxing.
Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. So how can people follow you?
So we have my Instagram, Joseph Awinongya Jr. That would be JosephAwinongya. And then we have our YouTube, Joseph Awin, Josephawin, and then we have Facebook also, Joseph Awinongya.
Very nice. And do you have any sponsors that you want to give a shout out to?
Uh, Recently, we've been working with Alphabet. It's a clothing company, and then we also working with another iBoba. It's a drinks, and then uh, we work with a lot of people within our area, and they always it comes up as a community to help me go to these events and help me whatever I need to further my boxing career.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, listen, it was a pleasure speaking with you. Wish you the best of luck in your career. We'll definitely follow you. Uh, I think your record 140 and 10 at age 16 is outstanding. And there's not a lot of guys like you here in the United States.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna follow your story, and we're gonna definitely comment on all your stuff. And we look forward to the future and to see what you have in store for future superstar boxers of America. Right
Hmm.
here, we had on the Fighting News, TF Insanity. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank your father for connecting with us, and we wish you all the best of luck.
Yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you
Okay.
so
We'd love to
much.
have you on again, maybe after your tournament in December. How's that?
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Sounds great.
All right. Excellent. Best
Thanks,
of luck to you,
Jojo.
JoJo.
Okay, see you
All right.
guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, JoJo Awinongya.
Yeah, Matt. So wow, what an inspiration.
Yeah, I mean, look, most kids his age don't know. They have no life plans. Uh,
Yeah.
you know, other than
He already has his
partying.
exit strategy from the sport that he hasn't even been in yet. He can become a nurse practitioner or which has many fields as well. So talking about the last night's event, we covered the heavyweight factory
Fist of
at the Hard
Fury.
Rock. Um, the only thing I was wishing was it would had a couple more fights. But other than that, it was had some great fights.
You know what? For a Friday night, at least for me, the length of the show was pretty good
Yeah,
because Friday night most people work.
Right,
9 to
right.
5. Then they're going. They don't want to be there, you know, past midnight or whatever. Not that the Hard Rock would allow that, but having 6 fights on the card was pretty good. There were what one fight ended in a first round knockout. I think
Yeah.
another one ended.
Second.
Yeah, but uh, the final 2 fights were good, competitive.
Yeah.
You had 2 undefeated fighters in the last one, and like we were saying before, one of them was from Cuba. Even though he was 2-0, he probably had 200 amateur fights in Cuba or whatever.
Yeah.
And he clearly has the talent to make it to the next level. We saw Ivana Havazin, who's a 2-division champion. We got to see her in action. Her fight was competitive. She pulled out the unanimous decision.
Yeah, that was a good fight.
Yeah, there was good people in the audience. Lou Martinez from Palm Beach Boxing, speaking of that, he took his amateurs to see that, and that's a good deal because, I teach in the same area that Palm Beach Boxing is, and those kids, the kids that I have that have been through my classes, that some of them go to Palm Beach Boxing, they're not paying $60 a ticket.
Yeah.
And certainly nobody's driving them there.
Yeah.
So, they're lucky to go to those events and sit 5 feet away from Evander Holyfield, and Big Baby Miller was there.
Yep.
I
was there.
Yeah, and David Morrell.
David Morrell was there. He's strong. He shook my hand. He freaking almost broke my bones in my.
He had a grip on him.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, he seems like a guy that could move up in weight classes easily. That he carry it well.
Yeah.
He wanted to, but we'll see how far he goes. He was supposed to have a fight with Benavidez, and that fell through. So now he's looking at the winner of tonight's fight. He can end up fighting Canelo one day.
We saw Jose, the Colombian necktie Cortez was there.
Yep.
Yeah, Jose was there.
Yeah,
so it was a good show. I had a good time. Who else was there?
Maureen Shea was there.
Two women boxers were there.
Right. Yeah, Maureen was in the audience, and I know she has sparred with Ivana. They've been friends for a while, and I actually did a podcast with her and her manager. And when I was watching the fight, I could hear Maureen scream, and I texted her, I'm like, I hear you screaming in the background. They're like, I got it on video. So, yeah, she's got a lot of spirit, that one. And she was with Evelyn Romo, who's an up-and-coming amateur. She's got a lot of heart, a lot of potential. She also sparred with Ivana for this fight, and she sparred with a lot of other pros.
Yeah.
And Carolina Duer, who has helped translate our interview with Dave Morrell, is also a multi-division world champion.
Yep.
And people enjoy meeting her also, because world champion is
not easy in the women's division either.
Yeah. To be a multi, division world champion either. And so they were bopping around, meeting a lot of people, taking a lot of photos. And that's good. That's good. Anything that adds to the atmosphere, I think is good for those shows. Yeah. I mean, you saw the people, like when we were interviewing Morrell, that were coming up and, hey, can I get a picture with you? And who's that? Who's that? And who's that? And, you say, oh, this is Carolina Duer. She's a 2-time world champion. And they want to take her picture. And oh, who's that guy? He's a world champion also.
Yeah. Yeah, then, he was pretty popular last night. I saw him everywhere he went. People were wanting photos with him too.
Yeah, well, he's better known in in the with the Cuban population than he
Yeah.
is with the American boxing fans as of now. I mean, I
Yeah.
saw him fight. He was on a couple of big undercards. He was on the undercard of the last Ryan Garcia fight. Um, so I knew who it was right away. But I know a lot of other people were not that too familiar with him. But he's Cuban, and there were what 3, 4, probably half a dozen Cuban fighters on that card last night. So that was a lot of the crowd.
Yeah, I just wanted to go over some current events coming up. October 27th at the Caribe Royale, which is going to be the most valuable prospects live on the zone. Alexander Rios versus Benigno, Benigno Aguilar at the Caribe Royale on the 27th. Also on that card is Crystal Rosado's fighting, sponsored by Box Lab. Saturday, November 24th, junior lightweight contender Henry LeBon is
Well,
fighting.
you're not going to mention the headliner of that show on the 27th?
I am. I'm getting to that.
Okay.
Which, if you want to mention it, go ahead.
That's the Amanda Serrano's 12-round, 3-minute round fight for an undisputed title. And I've been talking to a lot of people about that and whether or not they think that's good for women's boxing. And it's funny because the people that have been in the sport the longest, the coaches, the female fighters that I've spoken to that have been in the sport the longest were like, no. And the reason is because they don't get paid for it.
Yeah.
Why are they going to fight longer, put themselves more at risk if the money's not there? Some of the younger fans say, yeah, it's great. Let's see what they can do. See, I don't know if it's going to make the fight any more exciting. If anything, with someone like Amanda Serrano, it's going to end in an early round knockout.
Yeah.
A lot of Amanda's fights, you can watch them and see she's got plenty of opportunities where she's close to knocking out her opponent towards the end of the round. So with another minute there, I think she'll knock anyone out in 1 or 2 rounds if they're fighting 3 minutes. But
tune in to that. This Wednesday, October 4th, you have your WBA sponsored. It's called Wednesday Night Fights. Pablo Cesar Cano versus Zachary. That's the Pro Box event.
Right. Pro Box is taking off, man. I love them. I've been a subscriber, I think, since day one. It's the best $1.99 a month you can spend on boxing. It's during the week. There's no competition on a Wednesday night for anything else. They got a great commentary team, and they're putting together really good fights.
How far is how far is Plant City from us?
By Tampa, it's like 3.5 hours, maybe.
Plant City, 3.5 hours. Yeah, we got to make it to one of those shows.
Well, I went to the event that they had in Kissimmee, but I don't think they're having any more events there.
Paulie Malignaggi is, he commentates with your friend, the boxer,
Chris Algieri.
Chris Algieri, yeah.
That guy, that world champion.
That world champion. And then,
sorry, Chris. Steve's going to be 54. I mean, he can't remember what he had for breakfast this morning.
And then tonight, which is the, of course, we mentioned before, the Canelo Charlo on pay-per-view Showtime starts around 5:30.
Yeah, that's going to be a long card. I don't think Canelo's going to go on until after midnight. And after last night, I don't know if I'm going to make it that late.
Oh, and there was and tonight there's another event, which is BXNG Boxing, the next generation. They're in Kissimmee tonight. Box Light promotion show streaming on Boxing TV.
Right.
And that's Maine versus Banks.
Yeah.
And they got a full card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's at the Wyndham Orlando. So we got a lot of boxing events coming up. Got a lot. I'm sure I missed a couple, but Vargas is fighting again.
Well, Erickson Lubin is the I don't know if they consider him co-main or they have a co-main too, but he's fighting tonight on card.
Yeah.
And he's a guy that we've seen since his first couple of pro fights.
Wow.
Back in the day, and I wish the best for him because he's a powerful guy. He's had one loss in his career. I'd like to see him get back on top.
Yeah. Let's go. Thank you so much, everyone. Hammer. Tune in to the Fighting News on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. We're everywhere. Matt B, good working with you today. Good interview. He had some great talent today. Say his last name. Joseph.
I'm not going to say it again.
Yes.
See, before it was spelled on the screen. Now it's not there anymore. Awinongya. Yeah, he nice, good, great head on his shoulders, and he knows his future at the end of the tunnel, which is great. And thank you him and his father for setting it up and coming on to the show. And I definitely would like to follow up and follow up with his future for sure. Yeah, he seems like a great kid, man. When he says he started boxing at 5, and but prior to that,
he was wrestling
and come on, man.
Yeah. So
4-year-olds that can't walk.
And check out the Fighting News. Comment, like, subscribe. We're out. Thanks again.
Later. Enjoy the fights tonight.